Hello, everybody, and welcome to today's workshop. Welcome across the nation. Now, joining us for today's workshop on how to use practice tests. This is Martha Perez with the CASAS Technology Support Team, and I will be presenting today's workshop. This workshop focuses on using CASAS e-tests online to help students practice taking a CASAS web-based test. Practice tests may also be incorporated into classroom instruction, giving teachers a tool to familiarize students test taking. Now, this is one of 23 complementary workshops, CASAS Online Implementation Basics workshops. We highly recommend attending as many workshops possible to learn about best practices and ask questions to become confident in using the online system. Online help is available on our website, from training and support for eTest Online and TOPS Pro Enterprise. You will want to be sure and bookmark these as your electronic go-to resources. Electronic resources are updated periodically, so going to them will help to ensure you are receiving the most current information. Today's workshop will cover the online user guide. We'll cover section 4.3. So let me go to that section really quick. Administering tests. For administering tests, but with using practice tests instead. Again, you will want to be sure and bookmark this as an electronic resource. Okay. The guide has hyperlinks throughout to help you move quickly between sections, and you can also search keywords to pinpoint specific information. All right, folks. All right, I guess cannot hear me. Let me test my mic. I'm doing a quick sound check. Can you hear me? Maria, can you hear me? Hello, Maria? Can you hear me, Maria? Maria? Oh, so sorry about that. Let's see. Can you do a sound check? Try that link. Hello there, Irma. Welcome to our chat room. I'm just prepping here some things as I had already started, but it appears that Maria, the other participant, cannot hear me on the microphone or on her headset. So bear with us. Give me just one moment. All right. Can you hear me, Irma? Can you hear me talking on your headset or on your speakers? All right. Perfect, Irma. Thank you. Maria, can you hear me now? Maria? Oh, that's very unfortunate that somebody cannot hear me. Please turn off your speakers and then turn them on. Maybe this will help. All right. Well, let me go back here to the beginning of our training. As I was saying to Maria, Irma, hello and welcome across the nation to this workshop on how to use practice tests. My name is Martha Perez, and I'm with the CASAS Technology Support Team. I will be presenting today's workshop. Now, this workshop focuses on using CASAS tests online to help students practice taking a CASAS web-based test. Now, practice tests may also be incorporated into classroom instruction, giving teachers a tool to familiarize students test taken. Now, this is one of 23 complementary workshops, CASAS Online Implementation Basics workshops. We highly recommend attending as many workshops possible to learn about best practices and ask questions to become confident in using the online system. Now, online help is available on our website through Training and Support, eTest Online, and TOPS Pro Enterprise. You will want to be sure and bookmark these as your electronic go-to resources. Now, electronic resources are updated periodically, so going to them will help you ensure you are receiving the most current information. Now, today's workshop will cover sections 4.3. Let me go back to the table of contents. 4.3 in the online user guide. And you can get the online user guide again from our training and support, eTest Online Help, CASAS eTest Online Guide. You can download and save a copy to your computer. Okay, now for administering tests, but we're using practice tests instead. So that is why it says administering tests, but we're using practice tests. Now again, you will want to be sure and bookmark these as your electronic go-to resources. Now the guide has hyperlinks throughout to help you move quickly between sections, and you can also search keywords to pinpoint specific information. All right. Now before we get started, I want to make sure and point out where you will find and access the CASAS Test Online help. CASAS Test Online URLs. So notice the URLs I just pasted in the chat box. This is the main domain name address you will use when your agency is set up with an online database. All right. Now this is commonly referred to as a production server where live data is produced. But for today's workshop, we will be using the simulation server. Okay, this is available to anyone wanting to experiment and explore our online system without risk of compromising live data. And you will find information on how to access the simulation server from our CASAS homepage, from training and support, eTest Online Help, and getting started. You can download this document as a PDF file and use it whenever you want to practice on the simulation server. All right, folks, with that said, let's see. Well, let's begin. Let's begin. Please feel free to ask any questions along the way. All right, now we encourage you to use CASAS eTest Online to create testing sessions specifically configured to only deliver practice tests without risk of students launching into a pre or post test. Now, practice tests in the same modality may be taken and retaken multiple times in the same sitting. All right. Now, responses are not scored or stored in the online system, and practice items are not subject to test security concerns. Now, incorporating practice tests with classroom instruction gives teachers the opportunity to introduce students to the user interface, prepare students for taking like a reading, math, or listening test. They can emphasize the importance of correctly entering identification, discuss data collection screens such as demographics, status, and goals, discuss test item displays, stamps, and distractors, draw attention. I'm sorry, I have to mute your microphone, Maria. Don't forget to unmute it if you like to enter any question, project your voice and ask a question. Now, you can also discuss test item displays, stems, and distractors. Draw attention to the retractable toolbar and information displayed. For example, like remaining time and items and scale display. Identifying and applying a correct response, skipping items, and I don't know option when enabled. Demonstrating navigation, demonstrating how to review items at the end of the test, and discussing at the end test display, in other words, the personal score report when enabled. All right. Now you have sample test items available on our website from training and support, eTest Online Help, and we'll just click on test administration. Let's see. Getting started. Test administration. All right. Now from here, you can see the sample test items such as life and work. Let's see. Sample test items under additional links. And you can see we have life and work reading. We have life and work listening. And you can see the sample test items over here. You can download them. You can also search for the life and work listening. Here are sample test items and also the audio. And we have for math, government and history for citizenship, CASAS Online Sampler, CASAS Sampler, and the rest of those. Now, a presentation and training materials packet is also available on assess listening using CASAS eTests, presentation and training. So this is available and includes answer sheets for level A, B, and C listening practice tests. Now we're planning to change practice tests to practice items. Now this is to help eliminate confusion with thinking practice tests measure skills. Now giving students the opportunity to practice may prove favorable with results. Right? Now we also have plans to for a publicly accessible CASAS practice items website that does not include an identification input field. Okay, this the web page you will instead open to a menu, and also computers will not need to be registered for practicing ease. Now, for now, to administer a practice test, either use the production server, etestonline.org, or the simulation server, etestonline.org/rolling hills. Okay, now let's begin. All right, we're going to click Administer Test for simulation. As you can see, you are prompted to run the CASAS etest.exe, which is the executable file to establish connection with the online system. Now, you may be prompted to click Run a second time. So I just did it once, and you may be prompted to click Run a second time depending on your browser settings. Now, we just waited for the test delivery system. It loaded. And now it's asking me to enter identification number. It can either be numeric, alpha, or alphanumeric characters. An identification code is issued by the agency and not auto-assigned by the online system. Now we're going to enter our ID for today, our ID, and click Continue. Now we're going to enter first name. Middle name is optional. However, we recommend entering a middle name initial. Okay. And now the last name, it is a required field. Okay. As you can see, the ID, it's uneditable because we already did it. We already entered it on the previous screen. And let's click the forward arrow to continue. Now students are presented with a review page, as you can see, after entering their identification, so they can review and then click Save. Now the test menu screen displays reading practice test, math practice test, and the tests themselves. Listening level A practice test. So these are all practice tests. As you can see, the listening parts from different levels, A, B, and C. Now let me point you back here to our guide, our user guide really quick. This will be helpful to, let me just toggle here through my pages really quick. All right, let me show you a screen really quick here. Sorry about that, folks. All right, let's see, page 34. All right, sorry for the fast forwarding on my pages scrolling. I apologize sincerely about this. Let's see. Here's the image. Okay. I hope this is enhanced enough for you to appreciate our test menu. Now, as you can see, by default, practice tests will appear at the top of all test menus, on the top. Now, giving students the opportunity to practice before taking a test is really recommended. All right. Now, you also have the option to create sessions for practice, such as you can see on the left side of the screen. Now you also have the option to hide practice tests for regular sessions and only offer pre and post tests, as you can see. You see the color it differentiates from the practice items. It's got a different color, and the actual test has got a different, like a darker brown color. All right. Now let's return to our reading practice test. So we're going to click on the reading practice test. So as you can see, you can read the directions and proceed with test administration. All right. You'll have that the reading practice test has 6 questions, and just read the directions to the student. Then we're going to click now, as you can see, before the student begins, he or she is presented with information about the test, such as reading or form, and how many questions will be presented, and also directions to take the test. Now, with practice and listening tests, you can click on the answer you choose. You may skip a question by clicking the right arrow before answering. Now, you will not be able to go back to a previous question during the listening and practice tests. Now, at the end of the reading and math tests, you will be able to review all the questions. Now, we're going to click the next button when you're ready to start the test. All right. Now, see how the screen at the top left states your name or the name of the tester, in this case, Jim. It has the ID, the student ID, the name, and the items remaining. You can also see, you can also see a display, the item display right here at the lower left. And at the right, you will see the answers, the choices that you have. These are the display choices that you can choose. Now at the top right, you're going to find a retractable toolbar. You can pin and unpin as desired. Okay, so if you don't want to show this retractable tool, you can unpin it as well as do it on the left, top left. Excuse me, folks. Let me take a sip of water here. Excuse me. These things happen on the live webinar. All right. Now here you can choose one of the best answer, and you can click the answer box. You can either click on the answer box to check it, or you can also click along the answer bar on the computer screen, or you can either click here or here. Now to go to the next item, you're going to click the forward arrow on the computer screen. Okay. Now you can also click on the up or down arrow on your keyboard to select an answer, and use the space bar to apply, or you can use the space bar again to clear any answers. So I'm just using my arrows right now, and I'm using the space bar with the arrows go up and down. All right. And then you can simply click on the next item to enter another response. All right. You can also increase the view on these settings from the taskbar, as well as do it on the responses. All right. And you can just click any response that applies. Now, as you can see, you can also use the I don't know button if enabled. All right. Now, I don't know, it can be enabled or disabled depending on your preferences. You can click the I don't know button, like I said, if enabled. Now this automatically advances to the next item, right? By clicking the forward arrow. Now if we skip a question, you can just click on the next arrow to skip a question. And this will give you a message to say if you want to skip the question or no. And if I just want to skip, I just say yes. Now this is our review screen. This displays indicating this will indicate the number of items taken by selecting a check mark here. Now if there is no check box, there's no check mark on one of the boxes, this means that you didn't apply a response. Now you can click on that checkbox to go back to that test item to apply a response. And I'm just doing this at random. I'm just selecting any type of answer. And you can also click on the review button to go back again to review the same question. Or you can go back to the previous item by clicking the left arrow. All right. Do I have any questions from the information that I've shared up to now? Okay, folks. Well, once the student has finished the test, you can just click the End Test button, and this will take the student back to the test menu for another practice test. You can practice as many times as desired or time permits, and depending on your availability. Now, I have a question, Irma. Review is only available in practice, not tests, correct? No, that's not correct. Review is available on any practice items, on any test sessions, any valid forms test sessions, as long as you enable it for them to review. But review is typically preset for every test item and for every practice item as well. Okay. Are there any more questions? All right, folks. Well, I'll take that as a no. And all right, it says, but it will not affect scoring if choose to change answer. There's another question. It will. I'm not understanding it, but it will not affect the scoring if choose to change an answer. Well, the answers you apply at the end of the test. I'm just going to go through the math test really quick to show you. Let's see. Let's apply responses here at random. Let me increase this for ease view, and let's say let me just skip this response. I skip it because I don't know how to respond, and I'll apply an I don't know response to that one as well. An I don't know. So going back to the review page, these two answers, I just applied the I don't know. So I remember the 5th and the 6th item, I replied I don't know, and I didn't apply a response to this one. So I will go back. So if I were to end the test right now, this would take only these 3 effective scores as to score them. Well, this is a practice test, so it won't score it, but in a real test, these will be the only items that would be scored, and not these 3 because I didn't apply a valid response to it. And this is not counting as a valid response because we said I don't know. So I'll go back to my test item, apply an appropriate response, and I can navigate quickly through the forward arrow and apply a response like on the remaining items that I chose I don't know. And by clicking the forward arrow, took me to the end test and review page. And from there, I can be really sure that I want to end the test. Does that answer your question, Irma? So by changing, oh, you're welcome. So by changing and going back to any other response, this will change the scoring in a real test, in a real test environment. All right, folks, are there any other questions? And thank you for your question. It's very, very good question. All right, well, I will take that as a no. Now, let me go back to my workshops listing here for a moment. Now here, each workshop will build on to the last in a logical progression to help you get set up and running with the online system. Now, if you miss a workshop and would like to review a previously attended workshop or preview an upcoming workshop, you can find these. We have posted a CASAS Online Implementation Basics playlist from past recordings, and you can find them by going to Training and Support, eTest Online Help, and then click on CASAS Online Implementation Basics to view recordings. All right. You can also get them from our social media newsroom, and our YouTube channel. This is a CASAS YouTube channel, and you can click on there and review any of our past recordings. All right. Now let me give you some further information here from our technology support team. I just pasted the chat box information about our technology support team, who is available. Where available team support team is available to provide any technical assistance you may need to ensure successful implementation. Now, this email alerts a support team that includes several members, and communicating to the larger group will help us to ensure you receive a timely response. Now, we look forward to you joining us for the next set of workshops for the next workshop on how to use practice tests. Okay, this workshop will introduce you to the test interface. Are there any last questions? All right, folks. Well, you're welcome, Irma. We look forward to you to joining us, and thank you for your time. This concludes the workshop on how to implement the CASAS online system.